guys want to know a little bit about web marketing and WordPress?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Tell us.
I will try. Honestly, I don't know, obviously, where all of you are, or any one of you are, is in the whole, knowledge base of web marketing with WordPress. I have information on the slides, but we don't have to go through all of that the way I planned it out. We can go through this the way you guys need me to. So pretty much I'll just kind of start, but if you've got questions, you want to interrupt me, and you want to get some clarification, please do interrupt, raise your hand, let me know. I want to make sure you guys get whatever questions you have answered. If I don't get through all this, that's fine by me. But I just want to make sure you guys get the information that you need. So we're going to talk about how to make your WordPress site search engine friendly and web marketing ready. So we'll start, tell you a little bit about me. That's me. So we do web presence optimization. And what that means to me is, I've been in the web marketing field since about 1998, and we started as SEO. And SEO has evolved to a point where we don't just optimize websites for search engines, we optimize the entire web presence. So that's your WordPress site, that is your social media profile, that is optimizing your site not just for rankings on search engines, but for users who come to your website. So our job is to really help build the entire web presence of a person or a company so that everything that they're doing online is maximized. It's getting the most bang for the buck. This is where you can follow me. If you want to tweet some nasty things about me, you can. Tweet some good pictures. This is my book, Best Damn Web Marketing Checklist. I have a couple here. If anybody wants to buy some, last night. Okay, so if I repeat the joke, you won't hold it against me. The books are $20, $15 if you want it signed. Okay, good. I always like to start with a couple laughs. What I do want to do is pass this around. If you guys got business cards, I can toss this to you. There you go. If you got business cards, put it in there, and when I'm done, I'll give away the book. I'll pull a business card out of there. So there's a chance for a freebie. And then I get to connect with all of you on LinkedIn. So it's a win-win, huh? And that's my company, Pole Position Marketing. So that's what we do. If you have any questions or want help with your web marketing, you can contact me there. So, all right, let's get started. Let's start with basics. Setting up your blog. And I know you guys that were here on the first day, Friday. Who was here Friday? Who wasn't? Okay. A lot of this might be kind of going over things that you already have gone through. So again, I don't want to be duplicating. I can speed through some of this stuff, but slow me down if you need me to. It all starts with choosing the right blogging platform. And I know we're here at WordCamp talking specifically about WordPress, but there are other blogging platforms out there. And it really just does come down to looking at, what is it that you need? You need something easy, you need something search engine friendly, do you want to own what you do? We talked a little bit about that Friday, where social media sites, you don't own what you do, and a lot of the free blogging platforms are the same thing. You don't own your content, you are borrowing it, you're renting the space. So there's a lot that goes into making a decision on what platform are you going to use for your blogging or for your website. Which platform is going to be best for you? So here's a bunch of the free ones. Tumblr, Posters, Blogger. I don't even know if any of these are still around. I did this slide about 2 years ago. Has anybody had any experience with any of these other ones? How are they?
I'm not a fan of Blogger, not a fan of Tumblr.
No? Okay. How about you?
I used Blogger for a nonprofit organization, and it was horrendous, so we migrated to WordPress.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of how we are when we develop websites. We see a lot of CMSs, and we've ultimately made our way to trying to corral everybody back to WordPress because it's just a really good platform. But as far as free one goes, you can jump on these, create an account, and you're up and running. And then of course you got your hosted accounts where you buy your domain, you own the domain, and then you install the software on that. And you have a few options here. We had a developer once that swore up and down that Concrete 5 was the best thing ever. Unfortunately, I listened, and turned it into a disaster. Working with a client, ended up bailing mid-project, and here we were going, oh, well, let's hire another Concrete 5 developer, and there are none. They are very few and far between, so that wasn't a good experience. We started another project around the same time on Concrete 5 with that developer, and after he was gone, we were at the early stages. We said, look, we're moving this over to WordPress. There's just, we know how to do this. There's so much more there that can be done. But so you have some options, and deciding, do you want to go with the free route or do you want to go with the hosted route? And you've got to make that decision as a blogger, as a website owner. What's best for you specifically. Obviously, one of the highest benefits of the free version is that it's free, right? Exactly. Very easy to set up. You pretty much go in, create an account, you're good to go. You start typing away, and you publish a blog post, and people are going to find it. So there's good and bad. Hosted, obviously not so free. You have to pay for the website. You have to pay for the domain name. You have to pay for hosting. You have to install it, and sometimes you need a developer to get in and start tweaking things for you. But you do get a custom URL, and you own it. And that, for me, is the biggest benefit as a web marketer. That's the biggest benefit of going a hosted version is owning what you do. I'm a big proponent of that. I'm not a fan of borrowing. I don't even go to the library. I own stuff. It's just because I have control. And years ago when Blu-rays first came out, I had a friend, and he's like, I'm never going to buy a Blu-ray. CDs were just going out, or DVDs were kind of on their way out. And he's like, I'm never going to do it. Streaming's going to be the big thing. Everybody's going to be streaming everything. And I thought, this is, 10 years ago. I thought, you know what though? I still want to own it, because as long as I'm streaming it, it's subject to somebody else's availability putting it out there. And I love Netflix, but I can't watch all the movies I want to watch on Netflix streaming because they're not always there. Some things come, some things go. So I love owning. I'm still buying discs because I love owning it and I want to have it. With the website, when you're talking about your brand, your presence, you don't want to put that in somebody else's hands. You don't want to risk somebody else being able to not make that available to you anymore. So hosted, in my opinion, is the way to go. And so the decision ultimately is yours to make. What you're going to do, I might be a little bit biased, but we'll let you guys make your own decisions there. All right. So let's talk about setting up a hosted blog, WordPress blog, or a website, whatever you want to do. You got to get your domain name. How many of you already own your domain names? Good. All right. You guys are on the right track. You got your hosting set up, and then you install WordPress. Did you guys install it yourself? Who did their own installs? You guys are good. I don't even like doing my WordPress install. I just pass that to a developer. I know it's easy and I've done it before, but it's just one of those things. I don't like code. I don't like getting into that kind of stuff, but WordPress has really made it easy to do an install, and it's just amazing, what you can do very quickly, getting up and running on WordPress with very minimal effort, and that's pretty awesome. So with WordPress, you got what, the one-click install that some web hosts offer, like GoDaddy. You just go to their platform, you click, install, you've got a WordPress site. They got the 5-minute install. Does WordPress still have that, the 5-minute install?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's been a while since I've done it. I told you I'd pass a lot of crap off to somebody else. And then you just go in there and you start looking around, you find the theme you want to use, and presto, you're up. You have a WordPress site in no time at all. So that's it. That's the basics, which you guys all probably already knew. Any questions? Nothing? All right. Feel free to interrupt me. Seriously. All right, so let's talk about how to optimize WordPress for search. Does anybody have any background in optimization of WordPress? One? Okay. All right, so hopefully this will be some new stuff for you guys. A lot of it is just I'm going to go through WordPress settings And again, I hope I'm not duplicating ground from yesterday for you guys, but I can explain some of this stuff maybe in a little bit different, for better detail, what have you, let me know. First thing I would like to do is you set the www. One of the big problems with search engine optimization is duplicate content. And websites inherently have duplicate content if the URLs, if different URLs give you the same information, the same page content. And you can find that if you type in site.com versus www.site.com. Same information comes up, that's two URLs, one bit of content, that's considered duplicate. Now eventually the search engines, they kind of figure out, they go, okay, these two pages, these two URLs are the same thing. But as an SEO, web marketer, we've learned, don't leave anything to chance. Don't rely on Google to figure things out. They might, and they likely will, but there are times when they don't, or they don't do it quick enough. So I'm all about be proactive, figure out how to fix the problems before Google has to figure out what the problem is even. So the first thing you do is decide if you want to use the www dot or you don't. I like it, but there's no reason to, there's no, which one should it be? You just decide which way you want to go. And use WordPress here to set your default. And from there on, make sure every time you link to a page within your site, you're using the www dot before your domain name. If you're using absolute linking. Just be consistent with your links throughout your entire site once you've decided, this is the canonical way to write your URLs. Then you want to allow the search engines to index your site, search engine visibility here. And some of these settings might be from plugins that we use, and I'll try and make a note if it is. But I think this here is a basic WordPress setting, where you want to make sure this is discourage search engines from indexing the site. That's fine while your site's in development. But once your site goes live, you got to make sure to uncheck this because you want to open it up to the search engines. And that is a problem that I think developers, web marketers often have is while they're developing sites, they keep the search engines out. We don't want the search engines finding this. They roll the site out and they're like, where's the search engines? They're not coming because they forgot to change a setting that's blocked the search engines. So you want to make sure that you open your site up, whether it's through a setting here in WordPress, or you get into your robots.txt file and change the settings in there, either way. Set your URL structure. With web marketing, we like good URLs, clean URLs, where if you look at the URL, you can tell what that page is going to be about. That's how you know a good URL. If you've got it structured in a way that when somebody looks at it, they know what they're going to get if they click on that URL or if they type that URL in. So WordPress allows you to set your URL settings. They've got some default structures here. And if you're just doing a blog, you can have the URL just kind of show the post, the name of the post. And there's some other tools that will let you shorten the URL a little bit, so you don't have, if you have a 15-word blog post title, it's not putting all 15 words in the URL. It might shorten it down to 3 or 4 words, things like that. But make sure, you want to pay attention to the output, the URL output that your settings are doing. So all of the URLs I like to see the URLs follow the navigation structure of a website. So if you have categories and subcategories, the URL should have the names of the categories and the subcategories in there with the slashes, and then you've got the page name or the post name following that. So just look for opportunities to make your URLs readable. That's the main thing. If they're keyword friendly, that's great. You use words that make sense for the topic of the post, but ultimately they do need to be readable to the human eye. You want to configure your meta information, and this is the Yoast plugin. Is there anybody who's familiar with Yoast? Okay. This is one of my favorite plugins for website optimization of WordPress. He's done a great job of just pouring tons and tons of features into this one plugin that you can customize to have a more optimized for search engine friendly blog. So with this plugin, you can set your site-wide meta information. One of the things I like to do is to tell the search engines not to index the subpages of archives. So when somebody is digging through the archives, and you got archive page 1, archive page 2, archive page 3, there's no reason for those pages to be in the search engine index because there's really no unique value. What you want to make sure is that search engines spend their time indexing pages of higher value, which would be unique blog posts or unique pages on your site. The archives can be a way for the search engines to find those. So you don't want to block those pages from the search engines. You just don't want the search engines to pull those pages in their index and serve them in the search results. Because what that does is that slows them down. That causes the search engines to have to crawl through all of these pages and index all these pages, and eventually they get tired of it. But if they come to the pages and say, hey, don't index this, but move on, and grab the other pages that you do want indexed, then you're going to speed up that process and get more pages available to the search engines and therefore available to searchers. And then the add no ODP, meta robots, site tag. I don't know if Google still does this or not, but years ago they pulled title tag information from a directory called ODP. And if you wanted to control what the title tag showed or what the title of your pages were in the search results, you had to say, hey, don't do this. I don't want to pull from a directory that, I don't have any business doing. I didn't write that description, or it's just your name rather than something descriptive about the page. You tell the search engines, pull the content that I feed you, not the content that this third-party directory feeds you. So as long as that option is there, I would make sure that that is checked. All right, clean up your head code down here. There's a lot of things that WordPress does that you don't necessarily need or want. One of those is the short links. And I don't know why WordPress does this, and I'm sure somebody could give me a good explanation, but I'm not a fan of it at all. Every page has a shortcut URL. And what happens is those URLs are also spiked by the search engine, so you have to go out of your way to make sure those URLs are not being indexed, otherwise you have duplicate content. And they can technically act as links, which any outgoing link on your page is losing some site value. So the fewer links you have, the more value you retain. And even if you're just linking to yourself, which those are, you're technically losing some value in that link itself. So I would say always hide those short links. And before this was an option in Yoast, I was having our developers go in, take out all the short links. We don't want them. There's not a real need for them that I've known. So that'll just clean up and make it easier, because those links just redirect. If you were to follow one, it just redirects to the URL that you want, or shows duplicate content. So that's something you definitely want to pull out of there. Optimize your pages here in the Yoast plugin. Is that the Yoast plugin? Yeah. As you're creating a page or a post, you have the option of adding, your SEO title and meta description. The title is generally what's going to show in the title tag, HTML, which is also what Google traditionally uses for their search results. The blue link that people click on in the search results is more times than not pulled from your title tag. So this is your chance to create a title tag and control the message, is what we like to say. Your ability to really show what's out there. Now, when you do a post in WordPress, that post title by default is your title tag. And that can be fine, but sometimes your post titles, maybe it's long, maybe it's short, and you want your title tag to vary from that because you don't want it to be more than 50 characters or so. Or you don't want it to be too short, where it's not really descriptive. So you want to go in and you want to customize your title tag. Just make it something that's just a little bit more valuable to the searcher when they do a search and that comes up in the search results. So you want to take the time to customize your titles for that reason. Same with the meta description. Meta description doesn't have anything to do with search engine rankings, but it does have to do with the messaging that your searchers are seeing in the search result. And again, more times than not, the meta description is what shows below the title in the search results. So take some time to think about what is the message that you want people to see, what's going to entice people to click into your website when they do a particular search. Those are the things you want to make sure are in your title and your meta description. Because the search results, it's great to have top rankings, but that's pointless if nobody's clicking into your site because your title tag and your meta description suck. So it takes some time to craft that message because that is oftentimes the very first thing people see about your website is the title tag and the meta description. Before they even got to your website, they're reading that message. So you want to control the message. You want to customize that. The meta description you have about 150 characters. Title tag you have about 50, 55 maybe. And then you want to look at the page. Pull the page up in Google. Do a search for something specific from that page so you can see it in the search results. And look at the title and the description, how Google displays it. And see if that's the message that you want. If your title tag's too long, you'll see it, ... I like to, again, have full control of that message, so I'll shorten my title so it's not given the ... at all. Meta description, I might want the ... I might want it a little bit longer, so people feel like, oh, there's more information there, I'm going to click on that. But you got to kind of play around with the messaging that you want, and this is the place where you can do that to get people from Google to you. Redirects. Let's see. We often change URLs. Anybody gone through a site design and had to change your URL structure at all? Yeah? Okay, some of you have gone through that. This is one of the things people often come to us after they have their site designed or redesigned and the developers threw up a new website, changed the URL structure completely, and nobody thought to redirect the old URLs to the new URLs. That is a huge problem. When you spend years building up authority on your site, that authority is a conglomeration of the authority of every individual page on the site. And when suddenly all those URLs are gone, and there's no redirect, you're losing all of that authority pointed to each one of those pages. So anytime you change a page URL, you want to set a redirect. This is a plugin, it's called the redirection plugin, that will do that for you. You can set redirects in there manually. But you want to make sure that you are not losing that value that you spent years building. Eventually the search engines, they'll drop those old URLs from the search results. But until they do drop them, they're going to show up and people are going to click and it's going to go, hey, this page is not found. And you don't want that. But as they drop those pages, they don't have any way to assign the value of those pages to other pages on your site. So you're going to lose a whole lot of value. If you set up a 301 redirect, which is a permanent redirect, and you can do that right through this plugin, then you're going to transfer 90% of the value of those old pages, those old URLs, over to the new URLs you want to point to. And oftentimes I tell people, look, if you're just throwing away content, say, you know what, I don't need this bit of content on my site anymore, there's no new URL to redirect that to, I still say redirect that to the home page. Because there's no point in losing the value that was built on that old URL, no matter what it is. Even if there is no new URL to correspond to it, send it to your homepage, send it to your blog, wherever. Give it something so you don't lose that value that you built. All right, any questions? Nothing at all? Go.
What if you did redirect and you lost all those?
What do you mean? If you redirect
to redirect, what do you do then? Did you have to start over?
Pretty much. You have to
What's the
start
question?
with. The question was if you rebuild the site and don't redirect the old URLs. Your home page generally is going to have the most authority, and the homepage URL rarely ever changes. It's site.com. So you're going to start with that base of authority, but the authority coming from all the other pages or whatever pages that you lost that are no longer redirecting is going to be pretty much gone. You're not going to have that at all, so you will in fact have to rebuild that. Takes time. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. All right, so let's talk about optimizing WordPress for visitors. So we hit the search engines. That's one aspect of good optimization, but a lot of times people don't think about the visitors. The visitors are more important than the search engines themselves, because again, you can have good rankings, but if people aren't coming to your site, or if they do come to your site, they don't like it, or they can't figure things out, they can't get to the goals that you have for them, they're going to leave. And the whole purpose and the point of the site is going to be lost because you haven't optimized your site for good usability. So let's talk about that. Summary or full text. Does anybody here use RSS? Okay, a few of us old schoolers. I still like RSS. I use an RSS reader. So do I need to explain what RSS is?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Basically, it's a way to import content like email. You say, you get an RSS reader, news reader, and you say, I want to follow this website whenever they post something new on their blog. That content will be imported to your reader, and then every day or every week you can go in and see what's new. So you don't have to go back to that blog. Every day, go, did they post something new today? No, they didn't. Okay, what about this blog? Did they post something new today? No, they didn't. What about this one? Oh, they got something new. RSS lets you import only what's new since you last read your RSS reader. So it's a great way to keep up on new content very quickly. Every blog has an RSS feed. WordPress by default has an RSS feed. And what you want to have to decide is when somebody pulls in your content into their newsreader, do you want to show them the entire post, or do you want to show them a snippet of the post and hope they click in over to your website? And that answer can't be answered by anybody other than you. There's pros and cons to both. If you show them the full feed, then in their RSS reader they can read everything that you have to say and leave and never step foot on your website, never click into your website. So they're not really engaging with you at that point. If you show a summary, well, excuse me, they get a little bit, they get a couple paragraphs, whatever you want to feed them. And if they want to keep reading, then they click over to your website where they get to read the entire full post. Now, you won't get as many readers that way because people will read, it's interesting enough, but I just don't want to click over, so therefore you won't. But those who do, now they're on your site and you have a better opportunity to engage with them, to brand with them, and all of that. So there's pros and cons to both. You have to figure out, and I would say test it. You know, if you've got a lot of good traffic to your blog, to your site, try one way versus the other. See if one way elicits more comments, more feedback, more social shares than the other. And then, you know, once you've tested it out with your own audience, then you can make the decision, this is what's best for me. So there's good and bad in both. You want to offer related posts to read. This is a great way when somebody gets down to the bottom of your post. What do they do now? Well, they leave. Or you can offer some suggestions of something else that may be similar or may be related to what you do. Now, if you do something like this, you generally probably want to set some parameters on what kind of posts are going to show in this related section. If you're in an industry like we are, anything older than a year is going to be considered out of date. So we don't necessarily want a lot of related posts that are from 2007. On the other hand, every once in a while we do put out, you know, what's called evergreen content, something that's probably going to stand up through the test of time. You want to have those available. So, you just got to kind of control the message again. And what are people going to see down here? Is it going to be enough? And you want to provide them something of value. That's the main thing. With everything that we're doing, you want to make sure you're providing value to your visitors, because if they don't have value, then they're going to leave and they're not going to come back. So everything is about giving them that value. When they get to the end of the blog post, here's some more value for you. Here's something else for you to do. Stay on my site, stay and engage. You've got opportunities for comments here on this site. You can rate it, and you can do your social sharing as well. So you're giving them plenty of opportunities to engage, or at least stay engaged with the website.
Is that done through a plugin, or how are you?
Yeah, there's plugins for that. There's a few different ones. So just test some. And with any plugin, look at the ratings, read the reviews, see what people have to say, and then try the best one, see if it works, see if it's got the features that you want, and if not, then try another one. You've got a lot of options. You do want. I shouldn't say you do want to allow comments. Most people will want to allow comments to solicit feedback, and you can get some discussion going on. On the other hand, if you don't have a lot of readers, then sometimes allowing comments just makes your site look like nobody's reading it. So you have to, have that balance between, hey, I've got 5 people actively coming to my site. I don't want to have comments. Maybe I'll keep the comments over on Facebook or interact over on Twitter and whatnot. But once you start building up a reader base, then opening up comments allows people to come in, and you can start a dialogue and start interacting with them, and it might be very valuable. Let's see. So this is one of the generic WordPress settings. And then you can set, who can comment on your site, who can't. Do people need to log in first? I'm not a big fan of forcing people to log in before you do comments, before they're allowed to comment, as long as you can monitor for spam. And you've got to keep up on that. I don't ever allow comments to be posted automatically. We do moderate comments on our own site, so we have to approve each and every one of them. That just makes sure that we're not having crappy comments up there that, again, you've got 3 comments, 2 of them are spam. It doesn't look good for you. So you do want to moderate the comments a little bit. And there's some settings that you can help with that, where it'll automatically jump some comments, or if somebody's already posted once that you've already approved their comment and they come back again, that comment can automatically be posted without approval, because basically you vetted them. They came, they offered a good comment, you said yes, they're good to go. The next time they comment, it goes right away because they've been vetted as non-spammers. You want to allow your visitors to subscribe to comment threads. This is kind of a big deal for me. Every once in a while, I'll comment on somebody's blog, and there's no way to know if somebody replies to my comments. And so I have to remember, oh wait, what site did I comment on? I have to go back to that site, hit the refresh, look, scroll through, see if anybody else added to. And it's really a pain. So if you have the option, let people subscribe and say, yes, send me an email if somebody else comments on this thread. Because you figure if somebody took the time to post a comment, they might want to see what other people are saying too. And that fosters a dialogue where you can get commenters coming in and they're dialoguing with each other, or you go and you answer their comment that they made. You want to make sure that they're notified of that, so again, you can keep that dialogue going. So this is really important, allow people to get that email that says, hey, somebody else commented, somebody else commented, somebody else commented. And usually the email will have a way for them to unsubscribe from those comments, so if it gets to be too much, and there are some sites where, they get hundreds of comments, and your inbox gets filled up, you're like, oh crap, I don't want to follow up on this, I don't want to keep getting these emails for 2 months as these comments keep trickling in. So you can do it for a couple days. Once the dialogue starts dying down and you lose interest, you can unsubscribe from that. But you want to give that option to your readers, yeah.
Is there a generic name for that? I understand the concept, but if I wanted to go and say to somebody, I want to put this on my website, what do I call that?
Subscribe to comments.
Okay.
Yeah, just do a search for plugins for that. You want to prevent spam? That's a big deal. Again, we do moderator comments. Spam does get through, but you want to have something like CAPTCHA, where people have to type something in to prove that they're not an automated robot. If you get a lot of comments or you get a lot of traffic, that will help you out a great deal. Preventing you from having to go in and moderate a bunch of junk comments, because you will get them. You'll get far more spam than you'll get legitimate comments if you don't do something like that. So save yourself the trouble and put in a CAPTCHA or some other spam fighting plugin. You want to engage with your readers. We have, there's an option here. It says email me when someone posts a comment or a comment is helpful moderation. That's so you get notified that somebody made a comment. You want to know, right? You want to be able to go and answer that. If you don't do something like this, then people are making comments. You don't know anything about it, and the conversation dies. So you want to make sure that you're staying engaged with people and you're being notified whenever somebody posts a comment to your site so you can get in and follow up with that. And I would recommend, answering every comment. Even if it's just say, hey, thanks for posting, good insight, or whatever, or if they have a question or something you can add on to with their comment, do that, because that's why they're there. They're there to engage. They posted a comment. They're showing they want to engage. They have an opinion. So take that opportunity to engage back, even if it's they're there just saying crappy things. Oh, that's the stupidest thing you've ever said. Okay, respond to it. I said, no, I've said dumber things. Trust me. It's fun. I've engaged with people that have said, that's the stupidest post ever, and you know what? I'm like, hey, that's a good opinion, but here's why I think this way, and you go back and forth a little bit, and eventually, you're welcome to your opinion, you're welcome to yours, and no harm, no foul.
I just have a question, because I've heard, don't feed the trolls, and you're saying engage with your readers, and so I guess if you identify, the negative feedback and some trolls, how do you do with that?
Well, I said engage readers, not trolls.
Okay.
No, there are people who are doing nothing but trying to stir crap up, and you can disregard them. It's kind of like the kids at school that are doing stupid stuff just to get noticed. You ignore them, eventually they go away. But if somebody has legitimate comments or legitimate complaints, there's no reason not to engage with them on that. If somebody's coming in and starting bad mouthing, bad language, and all that kind of stuff, just delete the comment. You don't need to engage with that, but look for constructive dialogue. All right, you want to prep for social media. Option in Yoast is to add open graph metadata. You want to make sure you have that, so you have the opportunity when the social post or somebody socializes a post, it pulls the right information through. 5 minutes. Okay. So make sure you are looking for the optimization. Wow, I'm barely over halfway through here. You guys want me to go really fast, or you just keep going at the pace until I'm done?
Keep going.
Until time. All right. Pen custom messages. I'll speed it up a little bit. At the end of every post, you can have a custom message. Sometimes we'll have a text message that says, hey, subscribe to our blog. In this case, we have a message that's, download the cheat sheet, buy the book, whatever it is. But you can do that where every message, it's got a custom, every post has a custom message, yeah.
Do you find it better, to have an input box where somebody, if they want to get that information, you could give their email in that, or would you rather that be a separate interaction?
Well, in this case, we have a landing page that does get their email address if they want to download this particular cheat sheet. And it's a promotion for the book and all that, so we're trying to funnel to a landing page.
Okay.
So it just really depends on what you're trying to do. Set up your social sharing icons and whatnot. You want people to evangelize you. There's no reason to be writing all this great content and having go nowhere. Let other people be your marketing team. If they like it, they'll post it on their channel. So make sure you have those, you have the social sharing set up. Okay, all right, on to housekeeping issues. Any questions? Okay, moving on. Back up your database. There's a couple plugins that will make that easy. Every once in a while, I back up my backups. Seriously, my web host backs up my database. I take a backup of that off their servers and I put that on our own servers, and then our own servers are backed up. So I'm pretty well set for the apocalypse. If something bad happens, I can get my website back up there. But make sure you have at least one backup of your site. Fix broken links, that's a big architectural issue, especially if new sites run tools through that will check for broken links. This is a broken link plugin that will show you, it just kind of going through your site, and it'll show you whenever it finds a broken link, either within your site or to another site. And if you find a broken link to another site, that site's gone, it happens. Just kill the link, you know.
What plugin is that? I'm sorry.
I think it's just called Broken Links
Okay.
plugin. There's other tools like Xenu, Xenu, that you can run through the site and check for broken links. Install Google Analytics. You want, if you can, cache the site so you're not doing so many calls to the database and slowing down the server. You can have the site cached where whenever somebody comes, they're getting the same version of the site that they got last time. There's a lot more technical that goes into that, so you have to kind of look into that, but it's usually a good way to feed your pages to people faster. And establishing a message. All right, I got like 6 slides left. Find your target audience. Everything we do is about messaging. It's about building a brand and having a message, having something of value for other people. So you got to find out, who is your target audience? Who are you going after? Because your audience isn't everybody. Everybody has a unique niche of, these are the people that are going to be most, find what I do most valuable. And so you want to find who that audience is. And then figure out what is it that they want to learn. What kind of posts are you going to do? Well, who your audience and what they want to learn is going to largely help you craft your message in a way that is reaching the most people possible that matter to you for your audience. Everybody's looking for something. That's why we're on the internet. We all want something. We go to a search engine, we type in a question, we type in a statement, we type in a couple keywords, we're looking for content. And not every content that's delivered to you in the search results is for you, because some content is how-to, some content is buy the solution, some content is community-oriented. So you want to figure out, everybody's looking, what are you going to provide? Which area, what unique aspect are you going to fill? And then you find keywords for your readers. Every reader, they're searchers, they have an interest, they have a need. There's just all different kinds of things categories that people fall into. And you have to figure out, this can help you, you do your keyword research. It helps you figure out who's looking, what they're looking for, what is it that they're trying to get. And then you can take that information and you turn it into content. Turn it into valuable content for your audience. And then also you have to understand searcher intent. This is my last slide. Because like I said, keywords are different. Somebody can type in the same 2 words and have a different intent. Somebody's researching, somebody's actually shopping, somebody's ready to buy, and somebody's just looking for information. And one of the biggest things we do when we do keyword research for companies is we don't just say, here's your keywords. We say, look, these keywords are relevant for this audience, these keywords are for this audience, and these keywords are for this audience. And that helps us create content at different levels for the same keywords, essentially, but contents at different levels based on the nuances of those keywords themselves. And that helps with the message. So that's it for me. You can get the slide deck at SlideShare at that URL right there. And if you are interested, you can buy the book, and I'll give away. Here, you want to draw this? Katie Patton.
Come on down!
A review on Amazon is required. All right, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.